Yo, Jack,
What's up, dude?
did you know that for Michael Jackson's Thriller album, they recorded over 300 songs?
That's ridiculous sounding. Is that actually true?
Yes.
Where's
They
all
recorded 300 songs, dude.
Where's all that music?
There are 9 songs on the Thriller album. 9.
Wow.
300 songs were recorded. Do you know how much work that is? You know how many hours of studio sessions that is? Engineering sessions, producers that, got said no to. Do you know how many times that happened, dude?
Right. So riddle me this, how did Drake get a Michael Jackson feature?
Drake paid for it. I don't know. Probably just
So
paid
we were
for it.
listening to it. Jeff was showing it to me. It sounds like it's still a chopped up vocal.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, Michael Jackson died in 2009, I think. Yeah, so.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Was it really a Michael Jackson feature?
I mean, they labeled it as that.
I mean, they can
I don't
label it
know.
whatever they want. It's not really Michael Jackson feature because
Does it come up on
rest in peace, Michael.
Does it come up on Michael Jackson's Apple Music? I need
Somebody in the state made that decision. To me, it doesn't pass. This is me.
Latest release Drake. It doesn't come up.
Yeah.
That would be.
Oh, I'm not
kinda
even
messed
done.
up.
Out of those 300 songs that got recorded, there were 800 songs that were proposed for that album. 800 written songs that were looked at and listened to. Dude, have you listened to 800 songs this year?
No,
We're more than halfway through
I
the year.
have not.
That is insane, dude. That's an immense amount of work. Immense amount of work. Michael Jackson is not just a legend because he can dance, people. It's not just because he can dance. He was a hard worker. Hard worker.
He could work.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, he was so famous. Do you think he liked kids because, like, his childhood was robbed from him? It makes sense, doesn't it?
I don't know, man. You know what? It does make sense. It does make sense. Like, he'll look at other kids. He'll look at kids like, hey, I don't want him to, miss out on what I missed out on type of thing.
Have people come out and said that he was weird?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he got sued.
I didn't keep up with anything. I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
I was there.
I remember exactly where I was when I heard that he died.
I remember exactly where I was when I heard that he died.
Yeah.
Donald Wright's house. Hey, Donald.
What's up, Donald?
Yep. He's a good
Yeah.
realtor if you need a house.
I just pulled up in front of my apartment, like 1 foot out the door. Radio was on, and it was like they announced it, and I just sat there for a while.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I'm living on a planet without Michael Jackson right now. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
was at TD Jake's church in service whenever I found out Juice WRLD died.
That's crazy. That's weird.
I was like,
So I guess he died on a Sunday?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was Easter. No. Or I just found out something weird. Maybe it wasn't Easter. I don't know. I just remember like thinking, wow, this is messed up.
Man, yeah.
Juice WRLD 2 inspired me to like get melodic.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what? Let's talk about that real quick for a second, because I feel like regardless of genre, melody has become so important. A lot less people are doing like chants that are atonal, that don't have melody behind it.
Yeah.
Even rappers are using melody. Even rappers that aren't even like sing rapping. Sometimes I'll put. Do you do this? I'll put auto-tune on a rap vocal. That's like a J. Cole type of rap vocal where it's just like no singing at all, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it does something to it that kind of gives it melody a little bit.
I know. I noticed MGK does that
Yeah.
with his rap. I can't tell if I like it or not.
Yeah, well, he's a singer too, so
It's his style. Yeah, but he'll do like monotone rap and he'll have auto tune.
yeah,
I think they like the. It's like why T-Pain used so much of it was an effect. Not so much he couldn't sing. 'Cause
yeah,
he can sing really well.
yeah. Have you seen his was it Spotify Studios thing? No, I don't think it was Spotify. Where he did a bunch of songs, a bunch of covers, T-Pain covers.
Where he was like sitting by the campfire or something.
No, he was on stage. He had background singers, the band, everything. You should check it out. It's dope.
You saw his Masked Singer episode.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. He was.
Do you know Kevin Hart did one?
Really? He can sing?
Well, no. I saw the ad for it. I just well, he said Masked Singer made me remember it. I got to go look it up. It's already aired a long time ago. But I got to go look it up and see what the heck he did. He might have rapped. I don't know.
You kind of look like Kevin Hart.
What? Just because
put a picture up,
dude.
The way your beard comes off like your head like this.
You know what? You know what? You just trying to get me back for saying that you look like what's his name? What did I say he looked like last?
Lady Gaga.
No, the guy that laughs like this. What's his name?
Next topic.
I think
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Nah.
I think that's just payback for not all black people look alike. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying you look like Kevin Hart.
Just making sure you know that. Oh man, I'm taller than him. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that. You probably have nicer calves too.
Oh, dude, yeah. So yeah, he's been on my calves. Like, I got these Fabletics. I'm wearing Kevin Hart's brand right now.
Oh yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, they make my calves pop out because I got big calves.
I wouldn't have guessed you had big calves.
So what are we talking about today?
Hey Ife,
what's up?
Is it cool if I smoke in here?
No.
Why?
Because this is a smokeless or smoke-free studio.
I got to get in my zone though.
Yeah, get in your zone. Well, get in your zone before you come. So yeah, you can't smoke in here, dude. Sorry.
Why? But I'm cool. Like, I'm a poppin' artist. Like, I've got 57K on the gram.
That's great. That's awesome. You know what I mean? If I'm being honest with you, I know you're kind of like being a little silly right now, but if Drake were to walk in the studio or Kendrick Lamar were to walk in the studio and say they want to smoke, oh yeah, they puff all day.
I thought you were going to say, I'll tell them to get the out.
No, you know what I would do? I would charge them for it, right? And whatever equipment it was around them in the booth or whatever, I'm just going to buy a brand new one. Yeah, that's what I do.
I guess that works.
Yeah. Because I'm not turning Drake away. I'm sorry.
You like Drake?
It doesn't matter if I like Drake or not. I'm going to help him make great music.
Smart businessman. Yeah. Good.
Because remember, we're doing music business, not music industry, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But this episode is about studio etiquette.
Studio etiquette. This is a New Space podcast. I'm Ife and
I'm Jackson.
Here we go. Where we talk about the ups and downs of being a recording artist from the perspective of a producer and a mix engineer
that you work with every day. In this new day and age. Perfect.
That's it.
Something like that. That ain't it, but that's close enough.
That's it. Okay, so studio etiquette, man. What about studio etiquette? Because this one's important, man. This one's important.
It's very important.
See like different people every day. Different backgrounds, different needs, and all that stuff. Why does studio etiquette matter, and what are the most important things to you when it comes to studio etiquette?
First thing that comes to mind when someone comes in, when people want to punch in their vocals and come up with it on the spot.
Okay.
Think about that. That's putting way more. It's like really extracting to the maximum the engineer's time in a way that's not like beneficial for really anybody, I don't think.
Okay. This is a new space podcast, and we want to expose the minds of engineers and producers to the artists. The things that we get to talk about before they walk into the room, right? So, inside scoop here, people. Um, the truth is, I agree with you. We don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to have any idea that we don't like it. Now, if you end up being in the studio for 4 hours where you could have been in it for an hour and a half, well, that's more money in our pockets, right? And that's just what it is. But it's very tiring. Um, you know, it's headache inducing. And having to manage resources and move through a session very quickly. It's a skill that, I've developed because I have had to, but it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's always better if an artist has their stuff like written and all that kind of stuff and come in the studio ready to record. But, people watch Tupac documentaries and see how Tupac never had a pen and a pad. He just hopped in the booth and just did his thing. And everybody wants to do the same thing.
Like Lil Wayne, Juice World.
Lil Wayne,
but
yeah.
those are the type of people where it's like it makes a little bit of sense.
Why?
Because
Why do they get
they're
fast?
lyrically fast.
What do you mean?
Like they can do more. So when you think about it, are you thinking like somebody has a song written and they just want to punch in the?
No, you're talking about like they're writing on the spot, right?
Yeah. I mean, they were just, I don't know, really good at it. They were really good at it.
But were they always good at it? I've been listening to Lil Wayne since he dropped a mixtape when he was like 13 or 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much later I heard it, but I've heard early stuff like that. And he probably used to write stuff back then, and he developed that style of being able to, be efficient in front of the mic without a pen and a pad. Mm-hmm. After a while, what you're enjoying or what you get to see is probably some other engineer has paid the price and worked with him for so long is helping him develop that skill. You know what I mean? Maybe you're helping the next Lil Wayne develop that skill. I'm just saying.
I'll pass.
Yeah,
I think I will.
Have you had lunch today? No, but I do understand. It's a whole lot more fun for engineers when they know that, all right, bet this artist has
the song, has practiced the song, has a demo version of the song. There's a goal. It's not this like mysterious object that has yet to take form.
It's helpful. You know why? Because it let me know, for instance, if I need to set up or turn on that auto tune, or not, like the kind of compression that that's going to be on there, maybe like a fast attack or slow attack or whatever, like I feel like Drake, for instance, a lot of his stuff is going to be slow attack and slow release
punchy,
because he sings a lot of stuff. But like a J. Cole might have, more like an 1176 type vibe because he like he's spitting, like like the way he spits is like a little, like probably a little bit faster and more, like a lot sharper. Well, it depends. The diss tracks that Drake's been released, that Drake released recently, he tried to rap a little bit more, but you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it just kind of like helps for the engineer to be more creative in that sense, which is cool. But I think overall, man, I'm down with like people coming in however they prefer to work. Now, if I feel like if artists, have an option, I would definitely pick.
Right, and I say that like, would I rather record punch-in artists all day, every day, or work a corporate job? I'd rather record punch-in artists. I'm just saying baseline in my engineering. I thought you were going to say
corporate job.
No, I'm just saying like I'm complaining, but at the same time I'm still very appreciative of
Okay.
what I do, and I enjoy it. But I'm just
I got a
which
question
way
for
do I
you.
enjoy the most?
Is there anything that has to do with studio etiquette that you would rather work a corporate job than deal with in the studio?
Like devil worshipping music.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
That's really it. That's the only thing I can think of. Like that's the only reason I'd opt out.
I don't know. Is there anything? I feel like anything that I would pick or say is anything that nobody would tolerate. In just general etiquette, right? You know what I mean?
Like what do you mean something somebody does in the studio that would make me like
I mean, don't show up with a crack pipe. I mean, come on, like, just kidding, just kidding. I mean, I don't know, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
everybody's got their crutch, bro.
I think ultimately speaking, we both know that we love doing what we do, right? And
Yeah.
that's that. So going back to etiquette, right? Some of these things that we talked about. There's one that's really that I always have in the back of my mind whenever a client is coming in. Who are you coming with?
Ooh.
That's a big one. And there have been like a wide variety of this stuff. Story time. I had a client one time, and I'm still working with this client, right? And he came in with his mom. Dude's like mid-20s, late 20s. Comes in with his mom, right? And mom shows up in the studio and sits down, and she immediately becomes like the greatest producer of all time in her mind. Like, son, why would you do it like this? Why do you sound like that? You need some water. And she just keeps like going on and on and on. And he also was doing some stuff that had like rated R language in it, and she didn't like that. So, dude is trying to perform, trying to do his music, and he's not comfortable. So like he's like mumbling through words. I'm like, why? What are we doing here right now?
Mm-hmm.
And he had to come back another time without moms. He came
Yeah.
with one of his friends, and we were able to get it done. But that was just a bad decision.
Yeah. I've done a session with a kid's mom, but he flew down from Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and his mom was super cool, and she
Okay.
gassed him up.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
she was going and getting us food, doing her thing. But I had a client and brought his baby mama to the studio. And in the song that he was doing, he was dissing his baby mama.
Jesus.
And he only had one baby mama.
No.
You talk about awkward. Yeah. Yep. Just brush it right under the rug. Move on.
Oh my God.
It's like that. Yeah, but it's like you don't just bring... I feel like people will bring a lot of like anybody they can to the studio for a comfort factor. But like you'll acclimate to the studio within the first hour.
But I think some artists or some don't really think it through. Not that they meant anything bad by it, but they just didn't really think.
Well, it's like in today's culture, people show off the grind.
Yeah.
The studio used to not be something that was like
It was closed
it was
off.
yeah, it was quiet. It was
Recording in session. Nobody can come in.
right, and it was also like the secret. People didn't want they wanted this mysterious like ambiance around how they came up with something. They didn't want it to be videoed and broadcasted to the world. But nowadays, it's like people are like, if I set up a goal to have a Lamborghini by 2025, and I immediately go on my phone right now and post that on Instagram, and then I post everything I'm doing to get there. Like people do, that's part of the culture these days. And so now the studio is becoming this like stage because it's a place of work. And so people see that and they're like, I need to bring all my friends to the studio, pop some bottles, bring all the cameras.
You know what you make me think of? That this is something that's prevalent in every industry now. You
Mm.
know, like back in the 80s and 90s, actors like Chuck Norris and, Van Damme, like, they weren't outside. We didn't know what they were doing or who they are. But look at actors now. Look at Will. Have you seen Will Smith's Instagram?
No.
Like, I watched Bad Boys, not too long ago. And on his Instagram, he's showing like the body harness that they had on, and like
Oh, I saw
there's a
that. I
camera
did see
on it,
that.
and he's flipping it, and he's doing all this
Yeah.
crazy stuff. And I'm like, they're showing us everything.
Yeah.
And I saw this before the movie. So during the movie, all I'm picturing is, yeah, he's not really holding a gun. There's the body harness on him, and
Right. You kind of want to be left wondering, like, how in the world do you come up with that shot?
But then guess what? After a while, I forgot about it, and I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think for that body harness and the action scenes and all that stuff in the music world, it all happens right here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important, and it's a good thing to come to the studio with people that are going to gas you up, like like your client's mom or your friend or the feature artist that's going to be on it. You guys can actually be in the studio at the same time. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some dope experiences. I've had sessions where we start talking about like deep life stuff in between, like, and we'll take a break and we'll get some wing stop and we'll go at it. A couple of brews and stuff like that. Some of my favorite clients, people that that will come all the way from Nashville and Kentucky and Atlanta and LA. They'll come all the way back to Dallas to work with me, partly because we'll sit down and hang out and have a good time. It'll be like they'll bring their people and it's all good, but I feel like they did a good job of picking who was coming in the studio with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pause. People come from Nashville to Dallas to meet you and work with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're that good.
I mean, if we put it that way.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's a relationship thing. People
Yeah.
in the arts, I really do believe that people don't hire people based on just merit alone.
Mm-hmm.
People hire their friends in the arts, right? So if if I'm working on a project, right, and I'm looking for a singer, and I know two amazing singers, and one of them's my friend, I'm going with my friend 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Like that relationship opens up, loosens it allows them to be more of themselves.
Absolutely.
So that makes sense.
And because, as engineers and producers, and this is artists, like, peep this, because engineers and producers are in the studio a lot. Artists still get to go outside and do all that, but us, we're in the studio all the time. So if you bring outside to us, man, we will love you forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say bring outside to us, like, we get a chance to like break bread together, in the middle of a session, or we get a chance to like have the type of conversation that we would have had at a Starbucks, but in the studio with a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I have one of my clients. I'm actually going to shout her out. Her name is Nadia. She has
Nadia.
a great song out called Sin, S-I-N. Nadia, it's called Sin. We did it right here. Great song, and she has an EP coming out soon too. Every time she's coming, she'll call me without fail and say, "Hey, I'm a Starbucks. What do you want?" And I'm not a big caffeine guy. Sometimes I'm like, hey, just, I'll literally be like, just give me some water, because Starbucks water is cracked. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
Or I might be like, just give me some tea, please. That'd be cool. But just the fact that she does that, it changes my mood and my feeling. And when we get to the studio, I'm ready to go like a little bit extra, just naturally,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
That's good stuff.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Friendships
Yeah.
is a great foundation, but it can also be a bad one. It can be a bad situation, like we saw in that one video we watched. We won't get too into that because it's kind of off topic. By the what, I can't remember his name. He's the guy with the glasses and the beanie, and he was sitting there talking about drive over talent. You sent me the video.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't remember why I brought it
Oh,
up.
like friendships. People like not having the same
Oh yeah, I
drive
was saying
as
like
you.
it can either be like it's got like it can be either be an extremely good foundation or extremely bad one.
Yeah.
So just being wary of that.
There's
But
something else about etiquette that I think is really important:
what's that?
transparency and honesty. So for me, like you probably do it in your own way, but I like to establish from the beginning, especially people who haven't worked, much or before. I'm like, hey, you know, first of all, we talk, get to know each other, but then I'm like, I want to just kind of like establish something. I want to be comfortable enough to tell you if something's not working, and I want you to be comfortable enough to tell me if something's not working. I've been in situations and sessions where I didn't feel comfortable enough to tell the artist like, hey, this isn't like this might not be a good day for you to record,
Mm,
or this might not be a good writing day for you, or whatever the case might be.
yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt their feelings. And there were situations where somebody didn't like something, some effect like a flanger. Some people hate flangers. Like, what is that? Like, no, just make my voice sound regular. Um, and they won't like an effect, and they won't say anything because they don't want to. They don't want me to feel bad or whatever the case is. I think it's important to establish that from the beginning, and just
Mm-hmm.
be like, hey, you know, I want to be comfortable enough to tell you and let you know if something's not working or I feel like something's not working, and I want you to be absolutely comfortable telling me when something's not working. Because if you can't establish that in the studio, the world's going to tear you apart.
Mm.
You know, because if you both don't like something, there's people out there that are probably going to hear the same thing and feel the same thing. You know, but if you know that, man, this person, this engineer is going to let me know nothing's sliding by him, and then
Right.
it's the same way, vice versa. By the time everybody comes together and it's like, yo, this is fire,
Yeah.
there's a added level of confidence that this is good to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's important.
Absolutely. And even as like engineers and stuff, like having engineer friends to just send your mixes to, just to get that final green light or just that extra confidence boost
Mm-hmm.
is super helpful. Because sometimes, no matter how good you are at something, sometimes you feel like you just don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just like circumstances happen, but it's good to surround yourself with those people.
Yeah.
But I got a question.
What's up?
I came in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I paid you $3,000. You're gonna produce me a song, help me write it, record it, and mix it, master it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it cool if I go play with all those shiny buttons over there?
No, just because this is not that type of studio. This is not a commercial studio in that way. Yeah. You know, it's a good question. But there's some studios where you can go in, any studio where you can go in and either book the studio by itself or book the studio with an engineer, then you could definitely do that. And usually what they do is they might provide you a shell computer where there's Pro Tools, Logic, if you're in LA, they'll have Ableton um, on the
Why
computer.
L?
Yeah, Ableton's getting big right now, especially
Really?
in like the hub in Hollywood. Like
For
the
just
studios out there.
production?
Yeah, for production, not really for mixing,
I was
but
gonna
yeah.
say I
Mhm.
don't really like the mix workflow,
Yeah,
but
I hate when I have to mix sessions that come from Ableton. Ableton bounces weird. It's ASD files, and then you'll get a WAV file,
oh
and you get the other file, and
yeah,
Yeah.
You'll get all the
And
the grouping is weird.
it does something very similar to FL, where you get this current file, then you get the master file, and
Well, yeah,
yeah,
all that stuff, and
yeah.
it just
And
takes
if you
extra time to
if
be
you
like,
hit
do I
play
need this?
immediately, it's just gonna sound like
Yeah, that
yeah,
ain't right. That ain't right.
yeah,
Yeah, anytime I have to use brain power and go, do I need this? Do I need that? Is this important? Did they put this in here for a reason?
yeah.
I don't like that.
Dude, you know what I do? I just call the client. I need 20 minutes with you. You know what I mean? And if they have FaceTime, I'll FaceTime them and share my screen. Let's look through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delete or archive or hide or whatever. I'm not about to do that
Yeah.
because a lot of the times, you know, mixing records, more than half the time, sometimes it can be spent on just organizing and finding stuff and, you know, whatever it is. I'm trying to spend as little time as possible there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Yeah.
Ideally, one day we'll have assistants
Yeah.
prepping and all that stuff.
Yeah. Very soon, you know, probably definitely have a setup where, like, hey, you can use whatever software's on the computer, you know, just use the external hard drive and then take your files with you when you're done. But right now,
Well, this is so like, say I book a session with you at 12 and I book 2 hours with you.
mm-hmm.
Does my time start at 12 or does my time start
It starts at 12, buddy.
when I get here?
It starts at 12, and I feel like every producer and engineer should work like that. If you don't do it, you know, it starts at 12. If you're 12 to 2, you're 12 to 2, because there might be somebody coming in at 2 o'clock, you know? So it's 12 to 2. You paid up before your session starts or whatever, before before you come in. And then if you want to, if there's no sessions after you want to do more, that's fine. But it's 12 to 2. Now, sometimes, you know, personally, this is speaking for myself. I've been like, you know, hey, something crazy happened. It was, you know, traffic is really bad. You show up 30 minutes late, 15 minutes late, 10 minutes late. That's okay. You know, we'll work it out, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, it starts when it starts and it's over when it's over. You paid for 12 to 2. So you're paying for that block. You're not just paying for 2 hours. You're paying for a specific block.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that's part of the reason you're successful is you're like in order, which is a symptom of being professional. Like there's certain things that aren't negotiable.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm always willing to leave some value on the table. You know, like, I'm not going to be like, I'm not listening to that. No, it's, 12 to 2. Ugh, that's it. You know, if I don't have a session after that, it's whatever. If I do have a session after that, I could have a doctor's appointment that I got to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my health.
Yeah.
I got to take care of that. Or I got to go do something with my son. I'm not going to jeopardize studio time, for that. So it's just, sometimes it might be a situation where you're lucky and it works out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just what it is.
Yeah.
You're going to be the one taking the chance or the risk, not me.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever had artists like in there, like messing with the mic?
Yeah. It just reminded me of something very painful. So I have a Neumann U87 in my mic locker, and was using it one time, and the artist was kind of tall and needed to come down a little bit. And I was like, oh, I'm on my way. And by the time I got there, they had loosened it and the U87 dropped. So right now it's a $3,500 mic right now, right? After taxes and everything, about $4,000, $4,000 for this microphone. It bent the metal mesh that goes around it. Do you know what that metal mesh is? It's $400.
That kind of like shock to it doesn't mess with the diaphragm?
No. It can, but that's why it has a $400 shell around it.
Yeah.
And those German mics are built like tanks, dude. So the mic's fine, still sounds amazing, but it's just it just looked wonky, for a while. Like, because yeah,
I'd be so upset.
I was, I was, So if you're not like, if you're an artist and you're not just like super comfortable with equipment and know exactly how to, don't touch it. Just wait the extra 15 seconds for either a tech or the engineer to come help you adjust whatever you need to adjust.
Yeah.
You know, even though I know how to use it, you know, like sometimes when I'm around like an Elim 251, which is a $12,000 mic, or a C800, $11,000 mic, I'm not touching it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I can, and I know how to work it, whatever.
Yeah.
In somebody else's studio, I'm like, hey man, can we get some help here? I'll use that time to go get some tea or whatever, But
Yeah.
yeah, be careful with people's stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when the artist grab, it's like you being logged into the artist's Instagram for a day when they have their hands on your mic. The boundary has been crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be considerate.
Yeah.
Producers, engineers work hard.
So we said, as far as etiquette is concerned, be on time, right? Be careful who you bring to the studio with you for your sessions.
Mm-hmm.
They can make or break your time, or your song even, not just the time. Be careful with the equipment in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff can be extremely expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared. Show up. If you're the kind of person where you're good at being in front of the microphone and going at it and writing right there, great. But don't just do it because you were unprepared.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because rarely is it the case that like freestyling is going to give you a better outcome than actually writing. Because writing is freestyling, but you're taking your time to like go back over it and make revisions and really double down on how clever it is and how good it really flows.
There's something I learned from a mentor. And whenever he was working with a new client, he just liked to get on the phone and have a 15, 20-minute conversation with them and just get a feel for them and what they're like, what they're about, how they like to, what their creative process is and all those things. So as an artist, and I do the same thing now too, and it helps. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll do these studio visits and they're free. Just 15 minutes, come to the studio, we'll just talk, show you around, that kind of thing, whatever. But the phone calls do the same thing. Fine. Like if you're looking to work with an engineer, mix engineer, recording engineer, or producer, if they're talking to you and try to learn about you, that's a good sign. If they just book you for the session and like, all right, see you when we see you kind of thing, it's not necessarily like, doomed, but just be prepared the best you can.
Yeah.
They're not going to be as prepared as they can be,
Right.
Yeah.
And this is all about ensuring that the artist gets the best possible thing. Like this is for the artist.
Yeah.
To ensure that, because that's the most important thing, is that your music is good, high quality,
absolutely,
and juicy.
Because we're going to do our part, right?
Of course.
Man, dude, I mean, you already know this, but just saying this for the new space and our listeners. I spent 3 hours today talking to a brand. One of my hardware pieces stopped working. Like it's still working, but it's acting weird. I spent an hour and a half with Sweetwater, another hour and a half with the company, and they're in Poland, right?
Oh, wow.
Trying to deal with their team. All in all, between my own troubleshooting and all of that, I spent 4 hours today trying to fix this little box that wasn't working properly, and I'm going to make sure it gets fixed. It's good.
Yeah.
And that's what engineers are doing that you guys as artists don't know about. That's what producers are doing. There's a plugin that they've been using and all of a sudden it's not working properly on this new update they just did on their computer, right? So the producer has to either go back to a previous version, has to do backups, and there's so much that producers and engineers have to do that artists don't have to deal with, but we're doing our own prep. We're just asking that artists that you guys do your own prep too. If everybody's prepared from both ends, the magic that can happen in the middle is endless.
Yeah, it's like the middle of a triangle. It's a peak.
Yeah.
You both are going up to meet in the middle, but the middle is at a higher ground.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it was in my book yesterday. You've been reading your book?
I've been reading.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like reading.
Audible, but it still counts. What? It can't be an Audible? You look like a cartoon character right now, by the way. Freeze frame. But what? It was like, brother, like Audible. I'm reading my Audible, man.
That's not reading. It's literally
I'm
not
picturing the words in my brain, and it's going across my face. So I'm hearing it, I'm picturing it, and then I'm reading it.
I'm going to the club tonight.
Yeah. You on your own, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
On a Thursday night? That was good.
Yeah.
I hope people that are listening learn something. A couple of things that kind of like pop back to the surface of my mind. So I'm going to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I'm reassessing my whole life in the studio world as well.
Yeah? I can't wait till the new studio setup, by the way.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat that room like a baby's bottom.
And on that note, this has been the New Space Podcast. I'm Ife, and
I'm Jackson.
Where we talk about where we talk about the ups and downs of being an artist from the perspective of the producers and engineers you work with every day in this new day and age of the music industry, the music business.